There was a young man who was 18 years old who had just got his driver's license. And so one day he asked his dad, "Dad, can I drive the family car now?" And Dad said, "Yes, I will allow you to drive the family car if you bring up your grades, if you read the Bible daily, and cut your long hair." And after 3 months, the son returned to the father and said, "You see, I have now brought up my grades. I am reading the Bible every day." And the father asked, "How about cutting your long hair?" And he says, "The Bible, when I read, I saw that Samson had long hair, Moses had long hair, Jesus had long hair." And the dad said, "And they also walked from place to place." Today we celebrate the feast of the Holy Family, and in the Gospel of today we see Joseph, Mary, and Joseph fleeing to Egypt. When you say fleeing, it doesn't mean that they went to Tel Aviv and they took a flight to Cairo. No, they walked all the way from Bethlehem to Egypt. That is something like 320 miles. Well, the Holy Family had a lot of hardships to endure. And in our life too, there are a lot of hardships, and sometimes the hardships are human-made, man-made. We ourselves make trouble for one another. It is said that in marriage, there are 3 types of rings. There is the engagement ring, there is the wedding ring, and then there is the suffering. The 3rd ring of suffering is caused by individuals who make up the family. And you know that the members of your family are all put together by God for a purpose. God created them in His image and brought them together so that God's vision for your family would be fulfilled. And they are extremely valuable. They are a gift from God, and they are a special treasure. And therefore, do not take them for granted. This morning I would like to speak a little more about how important it is to have a healthy family. Let me start with the husbands. Husbands, every day appreciate your wives and tell them that you love them and that you are glad that they are in your life. It is not enough to tell them that you love them and that they are beautiful on their birthday or anniversary or on Valentine's Day. No, tell her over and over again that she is so very beautiful and that you love her. Tell her 1,000 times and she will not get tired of it. But she will never tell you, "Oh, you told me yesterday that I am beautiful, you don't have to tell me today." No, they like to hear it over and over again. And if you don't tell her, somebody else will tell her. I'm reminded of a story of a man who was reading the newspaper. The wife came from behind and hit him with a frying pan on his head. And he said, "What is that for?" And he said, "As I was washing your clothes, I found the name of Mary Lou in your pants pocket." And he explained, "Mary Lou is a horse in the racing track that I am betting." So she was okay with that. After a week, again he was reading the newspaper. This time the wife came with a larger frying pan and hit him on his head. And he asked, "What is that for?" And she replied, "Mary Lou, your horse just called on the phone." So if you do not appreciate and show love for your wife, somebody else may take your place. So be careful. And blessing is not a blessing unless it is spoken and expressed. Words have creative power. And so it is not enough to keep in mind, "Oh, I appreciate, I admire, I love my wife." But you need to express and tell her that you do love her and that she is beautiful. And if you do that over and over again, your relationship will have a new level. As I mentioned, yesterday's "I love you" is not good enough for today. It is said that when a man opens the door of his car for his wife, one thing is sure: either the car is new or the wife is new. When your wives become old, when your car becomes old, continue to show respect and reverence for your beloved wife. And wives, be proud of your husbands. And husbands would like to hear that over and over again from you. Studies have shown that men want a wife who is proud of her husband. And sometimes we look at men, or wives look at men, oh, he's strong, he's overconfident, but inside there is a little boy yearning for your approval, yearning for your appreciation, yearning for your admiration. So don't withhold your blessing, and don't tell yourself, oh, I will appreciate him if he changes. Don't be nagging and don't be fortifying him all the time. He is like a cork in a water. You pour water into a bucket that has a cork, the cork will float and rise as you pour more water. So also your husband, when you pour more honor into him, he will rise and float very well and make you happy and make your children happy and make your home a wonderful home. There may be 100 faults that he has, 100 defects that you find in him, but don't focus on that. Focus on 3 good things that you can admire. Thank him and tell him, I'm proud of the fact that you have been working for the last 20 years. I'm proud that you are coaching our son. I'm so very proud of you that you are going with us to Mass every Sunday. And show that you are really proud and tell him really so. Say to your husband, I'm so proud of you, you good looking thing. And he will rise from his feet and do everything that you want. So if you want to offend your husband, tell him nice sweet words. You know, I come across some husbands who are coming from low self-esteem and suffering from depression. The reason for their depression is you wives, because you have not appreciated your husband enough and told him that you are truly proud of him. So if he is having a low self-esteem or suffering from depression, work out this little magic trick. Tell him over and over again, I'm so very proud of you for this or for that, instead of finding fault with him all the time. We have in the middle of the Bible the Song of Songs. Solomon was considered the most intellectual in the entire Bible, and he every day getting up would praise his wife. In the book, the Song of Songs have only 8 chapters. In that 8 chapters, we see Solomon praising and appreciating his bride, his wife, over 40 times. You can go into the Bible and read the Song of Songs, that book, in about 5 to 10 minutes, because it's a very, very short book of the Bible. Tell your wife every day, you are the most beautiful girl in the whole world. But then you will say, oh Father, if I say that, I will be lying. That's because you are comparing your wife to neighbor's wife. Or it is because you are comparing her to the girl's picture on the magazine. Or it is because you are comparing her to the TV actresses. Mind you, they have had a lot of help. Perfect lighting, professional makeup, and surgery. Physical beauty is fleeting, but the inward beauty lasts forever. And for you, your wife, your spouse is the most beautiful, most loving person. You know, I tell people, I am not Romeo, I am Julio. You don't have to be like your Romeo and Juliet. You don't have to be extremely romantic and write poetry to your spouses every day. You don't have to organize candlelight dinner every evening. But in many, many little ways, you can show your admiration for your spouses. A few months ago, I was talking to one of the school parent, a dad. He was in his 30s. And as we was finishing the conversation and driving off, he told me, I'm now going home to see my old lady. He was referring to his wife as an old lady. And I said in my mind, if he is going to meet his wife as the old lady, he must be an old man. And I said, if I were in his place, I would say, I'm going to see my queen, so she will think I am the king. So treat your wife as a queen, and your husbands will be treated as kings. No sarcastic remark. Don't complain all the time that the dinner is late, or she's not cleaning enough, or she's or spending too much money. You can always find fault, but look for something good. You know, keep peace in your home. Words can cut like a knife. 10 seconds of argument or bad remark can have 10 years of impact. Bring a lot of forgiveness into your homes. Marriage is when two people become one, but the problem starts when they try to decide which one. We need a family that is like a confessional, not like a courtroom. What happens in a courtroom? They are arguing, and there is defending going on. What happens in a confessional? Acknowledgement of sin, asking for forgiveness, total forgiveness. And that should be in our family. Acknowledge your failures. We are all human, we make mistakes. And accept forgiveness and be ready to forgive and be very godly. And so make your home like a confessional and not a courtroom. And if you are always finding fault with your spouses all the time, think of the time that you are dating. The same very problems that you find in your spouse existed when you are dating him or her many years ago. When you were in love, you are able to overlook certain things. You knew that your would-be husband would watch television for the whole afternoon, watch the ball game with a pack of beer and forget about you. But you knew that he was wearing the same pair of shorts for the last 7 years. Before marriage, you knew his breath was a weapon of mass destruction. You knew that her cooking was not a specialty, and when she cooked for you for the first time, you were sick for the next 3 days. Well, overlook. You are able to overlook because you are in love. Fall in love with your husband, with your wife all the time. And we know that Solomon praised his wife in front of the children. And because of that, the children in turn were able to praise the mother. So, you parents, praise one another, each other in the presence of children too. And when the children notice that, they will appreciate and applaud you parents. There's a story told about a young kid who had gone to sleep, and after a few minutes he called out to the next room where the dad was, "Dad, can I have a drink of water?" And dad shouted back, you have had enough, you better go to sleep." After 5 minutes again, the little kid shouted, "Dad, please, can I have a drink of water?" And dad said, "I said you have had enough. If you call out again, I will come and spank you." And the child replied, "Dad, when you come to spank me, can I have a drink of water?" Please give your children your undivided attention. If your parents go and see your children playing, see the ball game, talk with their teachers, watch what they are watching, listen to what they are listening, and be there for your children. What is more important is not the money that you make doing 2 jobs. What is more important is building up a loving, warm family. What is the use of having a nice home where there is cold hearts? One of my priest friends told me about a lady who became promiscuous, and this priest asked her, "Why did you become like what you are now?" And she replied to this priest, "Well, one day I was 17 and I got a new prom dress, and I was preparing myself for the prom, and I put on the dress and came to the living room where the dad was reading a newspaper. And I told my dad, 'Dad, look, look.' And she turned round and round, displaying the beautiful new prom dress. And then dad never looked up from the newspaper, said, 'Oh, it's very nice, go away.' And believe it or not, she went to men after men, seeking for approval, seeking for value. And so she became a promiscuous lady. Dear parents, make your children a priority. You have an important obligation for them. Give your time for your children. In conclusion, I want to say, we will have a wonderful, healthy, holy families if you are able to affirm over and over again. Bring communication into your family. Give communication a lot of importance. Give a lot of love, sacrificial love. Give your time to your children. Bring a lot of forgiveness and prayer into your family. And if you do all these, I believe and declare that we will have great families, holy families in the church and in the society. Thank you and amen.